from Midsummer Classic to postseason push. It is underway in LA. They've dealt away part of the future to return to the past winning tradition. Will it be in the cards for the Dodgers? And after a difficult slide in the break, the Twins are in search of a fresh start of their own. Like the A's, waiting for a second-half surge to ensure an invite to the promised land. Hi, everyone. Welcome inside the Fox Network Center. Jeannie Zalasko along with Kevin Kennedy. This is Fox Saturday Baseball, your game of the week, and we welcome you back from the All-Star break, but it was not a break for the Dodgers, Kevin. They made some moves.
And they had to make some moves, Jeannie. They're last in the National League in on-base percentage, last in runs scored. So they go out and get Ricky Henderson playing independent ball for the New York Bears and does the job last night, a home run. He's 3 for 8 in his 2 games as a Dodger. He's going to set the table for him with .402 lifetime on-base percentage for Ricky Henderson. Then Jeremy Burnett's 18 home runs this year so far, 47 runs driven in, hitting .274, shorting his swing up. He's really going to complement the middle of that lineup. Ricky Henderson, you see the on-base percentage I talked about. That's exactly what the Dodgers need. He's also the all-time run-scoring leader. And this season, Burnett's has shortened his swing up, as I said, from a year ago where he was miserable. 1 home run every 13-plus at-bats for Jeremy Burnett. McGriff out, Jordan gone. It's really going to help the Dodger lineup.
Yeah, some trades work, some give you a headache, like Tom Glavine. 4th verse, same as the first versus his old team.
Andrew Jones, number 24 right there. I don't think Tommy Glavine changed the eyesight enough today. Didn't go inside enough and move the hitters back.
We started the home run theme, so let's keep it going. The Astros did versus the Reds.
Swinging it back, trying to make a move in the central, really open up the gap right here. That ball should have been caught really by Mateo. Where's King Griffey Jr.? Oh, he's out. I'm sorry.
Let's Berkman, Rich Hidalgo, Morgan Ensberg, back-to-back home runs to start this one. They're running away with it.
Here's Houston now. They've got 52 and 44 right now as we speak. St. Louis lost a couple of the Dodgers. The Cubs, they missed Corey Patterson, 4.5 games out. They're under 500 for the first time all season. Of course, Cincinnati, they're definitely going to miss Junior because he was starting to swing the bat pretty well.
Yeah, one more surgery to come. The ankle is done. Now we look forward to the shoulder here in a couple of weeks.
Get him back next year. Maybe he should be traded, though. Maybe he should go to the American League.
You're thinking American League, aren't you? We need to take you out to your ball games. The brownout is over in L.A. as Kevin Brown returns to work to face an unfriendly welcoming committee. The offensive powerhouse that is the Cardinals lineup. The A's plan to be just as unkind to the Twin starter in search of his first win in more than 2 months. The Fox Network Center. The Dodgers have the league's best arms. The Cardinals have the league's best bats. Opposites attract at Dodger Stadium, but only one side can prevail. The battle gets underway next on Fox.
The 74th All-Star game in Chicago was spectacular. Edgar Renteria led a brigade of Cardinals in the National League starting lineup. Jim Edmonds was voted in for his great offense and his sensational defense. What more can be said about Albert Pujols, where the Triple Crown is not out of the question? And Scott Rowland defines what a top-rate third baseman should be at the plate and with the glove. Today, they and the rest of the Cardinals meet Kevin Brown, who had to forgo the All-Star game but is back in form today. It's the Redbirds and the suddenly resurgent Dodgers next on Fox. A beautiful summer Saturday in Los Angeles. We welcome you to Dodger Stadium for the St. Louis Cardinals and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And a pleasant good afternoon to you. Alongside Steve Lyons, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Baseball on Fox. Arguably, Steve, the St. Louis Cardinals have the best starting lineup in the major leagues today. But do they have enough pitching to repeat as champions of the National League Central?
Well, they think they have enough pitching, but they haven't been getting the job done, especially in that starting rotation. They knew that they had problems in their bullpen, but they expected their starters to go out there and get the job done. Woody Williams has been outstanding for them, an all-star on this team. Matt Morris, they're worried that he's not throwing the ball as hard, and they have problems behind the rest of that starting rotation. So if they don't swing the bats, they're in big trouble in the Central.
Danny Haren, a rookie, will get the start today, and today marks the return of Kevin Brown, the Dodger ace, coming off the disabled list. For the Dodgers, they've had great pitching all year, but not much offense. So what do? They go out and they make trades to get Jeremy Burnett, and then they sign 44-year-old Ricky Henderson.
Burnett's is a nice deal. He comes in here having an outstanding season after an off year last year for the Mets. He already leads this team in home runs and RBIs when he shows up here. But Henderson, although I think he'll provide some excitement, he's 44 years old. He played the last 2 nights, hit a home run here last night, but not in the lineup today. Can you bring your team a pennant if you're only going to play 3 or 4 times a week?
It will be interesting to watch, but certainly the Dodgers have been mighty good on offense the last 2 games. The only 2 games Henderson and Burnett have been here. Major League Baseball's all-time stolen base king, #1 all-time in walks, #1 all-time in runs scored. And now he dons a Dodger blue uniform. The Cardinals and the Dodgers from Dodger Stadium right around the corner. Kevin Brown, a 38-year-old right-hander in his 17th season in the major leagues, his 5th as a Dodger, is getting the ball at the big league level for the first time since the 3rd of July. He had to go on the disabled list for a second time this season after being bothered by an abdominal strain. More on that in a moment. But here is the highest scoring team in the National League that he will face today. The St. Louis Cardinals under their manager, Tony La Russa. Bo Hart leads off at second base. J.D. Drew is in right field, and the amazing Albert Pujols is in left. Just look at some of the numbers, and there are many, many, many more. Jim Edmonds in center field. Scott Rowland at third with Tino Martinez. Over at first base, a ladder third of Edgar Renteria, Mike Matheny, and the rookie right-hander Danny Haren on the mound. And Kevin Brown, the league leader in earned run average when he went on the disabled list.
With that 2.30 ERA, look at the record, 10-4. That's nice at the break. Here's the scouting report on him. This guy may have the hardest sinker in the game, with the exception of quite possibly Brandon Webb now, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Great presence. This guy's a bulldog. He's nasty out there on the mound. And speaking of nasty, if you get 2 strikes, you can sometimes forget about your at-bat, because he can throw a splitter that drops off a table.
Charlie Relaford.
The Dodgers defensively behind Kevin Brown today, and the Dodgers have won the first 2 games of this series. Burnett moves from center over to left. Holbert Cabrera in center, Sean Green in right. Beltray and Kincaid on the corners. Cora at second base, and Turris, a flashy, dependable defender at shortstop, with a battery of Kevin Brown and Paul LaDuca. It will be interesting to see if the Cardinals test Kevin Brown's mobility here very early in the game. The Cardinals are not known as a bunting team or a hitting and running kind of team, but Brown did not appear to be running all that well, even jogging.
Well, this is a kid that might test him with a bunt, push one the other way, see if he can get Brown to move around out there.
Bo Hart looks at a strike, and we are underway.
As you mentioned, Tommy, Brown has said that the abdominal strain does not bother him very much pitching, but he doesn't run well. He can't move around on the bases if he has to get out there, and he's afraid of guys bunting.
That ball driven into right center field, and Cabrera will not get it. It'll go to the wall. Hart on his way to second base, and he'll slam on the brakes with a double to right center field. Bo Hart came in hitting .345 in his first 26 games since taking over for Fernando Vina.
Number 7.
That ball's just a sinker that goes right into Bo Hart's bat. He's just kind of inside-outing that pitch. That's a tough pitch to do that with, too, Tommy. A ball that bears down in on your hands, to be able to drop your hands through the hitting zone and lag the bat head far enough into the hitting zone so that you can hit the ball the other way.
So now Hart a leadoff double at second base, and that'll bring up J.D. Drew, who's been limited with a number of injuries again this year, most of them below the belt. A lot of leg injuries. You know about all the knee problems he's had. But a productive out here. A roller to the right side that will advance Hart onto third. And you talk about setting the table for the guy behind you. Who better behind any player in baseball than to have Albert Pujols coming up with a runner at third and only 1 out. Third in the league with runners in scoring position at .404. A .369 hitter, 28 home runs, 88 runs batted in. Steve, Triple Crown-like numbers for Pujols.
I tell you, the way that these guys swing the bat, it's hard to pitch around anybody. You have Edmonds up behind Pujols, but in this situation, I really don't give him anything to hit. I would almost intentionally walk him here. See if you can get him to swing at something bad. Maybe get ahead in the count by nibbling and see what Pujols does at the plate. But I'd almost rather see him on first base and put myself in a double play situation with Edmonds coming up than let Pujols swing the bat with the guy on third.
Look at where Pujols ranks in so many categories in the National League. Number 1 in batting average and a tie for third in home runs. Second in runs batted in. The league leader in hits. Swung on and fouled out of play. Having said all that, for whatever reason, the Cardinals, and Pujols in particular, have struggled and struggled mightily against National League Western Division teams. If you throw out San Diego, the cellar dwellers in the NL West, The Cardinals are 3-13 against the top 4 teams in the NL West, 2-11 against the top 3 teams, and Pujols is barely hitting 200. And Brown has just struck him out with a runner at third.
Well, that's nasty right there. He got ahead of him, and then just a slider away from Pujols right there. Looks like Pujols may have been looking for the splitter. You see Pujols out on his front foot. That's not a big deal for him because he's kind of a front foot hitter anyway. Huge out right there for Kevin Brown.
Well, now Jim Edmonds. 29 home runs, 69 runs batted in, and a .302 batter. One of 4 Cardinals in a starting lineup for the National League All-Star team last Tuesday night. Ball 1 in.
If you're looking for a resurgence of this Dodger club in the second half, Brown is going to have to lead them. Comes into this game loser of his last 3 starts, then went on the DL right after that last loss with the abdominal strain. Now back in the lineup and clearly the ace of this team, and he's going to have to lead this club if they're going to do anything.
1-1 to Edmonds is low and away. 2 balls and a strike. The 3-game losing streak came on the heels of a 10-1 start, including a 9-game winning streak to begin the season. You got to believe the injury had a lot to do with those numbers on the right side.
Well, no question is those numbers went sky high as to his first 11 decisions.
Runner at third, 2 away, 2-1 to Edmonds. Sales outside. It almost appears as though Brown is pitching more so around Edmonds than he did against a right-handed batting Pujols, knowing there's a right-handed batting Rolen in the on-deck circle.
Well, he's picking his poison. I had thought that he may try to pitch around Pujols if he got behind in the count. He got ahead in the count, had more options to get him out and went after him. Now he's in the same situation with Edmonds. If he gets behind in the count, he doesn't have to throw strikes to him. He'll go after Rolen instead, a right-handed hitter.
Saw the numbers for Edmonds against Brown, and Brown strikes him out looking to end the inning. A runner at third and only 1 out, and Brown fans Pujols and Edmonds to retire the side. Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by Radio Shack, official sponsor of Major League Baseball. Beautiful Saturday afternoon outside Los Angeles, and a homecoming of sorts for the Cardinal right-hander getting to start today, Danny Haren. More on him in a moment. For the lineup he'll be facing today under manager Jim Tracy. Holbert Cabrera leads off in center field, trying to turn around the numbers for a Dodger leadoff batter this season. They have not been good. Alex Cora at second base, Sean Green in right, Paul Maduka behind the plate, Jeremy Burnitz in left field, Adrian Beltre at third, with a latter third of Mike Kincaid, Cesar Izturis, and Kevin Brown. Haren started the year in Double-A, went to Triple-A, and now in the big leagues.
Just flew through the minor league system, not on the major league roster when it started. Here's the scouting report. He's got to keep the ball down. He's got to get hitters to chase that junk. He's got a great split finger pitch, and he is the wave of the future in this organization, a former Pepperdine player. Got about 60 family and friends here, and when I said that to Mike Matheny, he said, I'm not sure that I wanted to know that. He said one of his starts up there in San Francisco, he just got so over-geeked, too pumped up for the game, that he tried to throw the ball 100 miles an hour, and that's where he really got in trouble. You saw the 0-2 record with the ERA of over 5. Just let him calm down and throw his pitches. He's got nasty stuff.
He's gotten ahead very quickly of Holbert Cabrera, and no balls and 2 strikes. And a slow roller to the right side, and a good start for Haren. 1 away. St. Louis defensively solid. In fact, 4 Gold Glove winners from a year ago. Edmonds in center, Pujols and Drew on the corners. Gold on the left side with Rolen and Renteria, Hardin Martinez on the right. Haren and another Gold Glove winner behind the plate, Mike Matheny. 11 Gold Gloves in their starting lineup today. And that's without Fernando Vina, who is an excellent defender as well. Alex Cora at 236. Taken outside, 2-0. Cora with a home run, 20 runs batted in. In there, strike 2 and 1.
When you look at these teams, Tommy, there's so many questions that swirl around both of them. Are the Dodgers done making deals if they can make a run in the West? Same thing with the Cardinals. Can they afford to make a deal? Who would they give up if they did? How worried are they about their pitching staff, not only their starters, but also their bullpen, and how can they make sure that they stay in the race in the Central?
Line in the center field, a base hit by Cora. And he is the first Dodger base runner here in the bottom half of the first inning.
Now batting, right fielder, number 15, Sean Green.
Well, certainly, whether the Dodgers make another deal or not, this is a guy that has to get things turned around if the Dodgers are going to make a run at the Giants or Arizona and Philadelphia in that wild card. Only 10 home runs and a .257 batting average for Sean Green.
Well, there's not a guy in baseball that would have bet on those numbers for Sean Green as you look at the difference in Green's numbers year to year. I mean, 10 home runs up to this point. There's no way anyone would say that. Shoot, what was it last year? At 8 home runs in about 3 days, and Milwaukee didn't
exactly
have
right.
Come on. And that's when he turned his season around there, too. Was struggling a little bit up to that point, but that was early in the year.
That was in May. Martinez juggles on his turn to try and throw to Renteria. He'll get the out behind him. And into scoring position goes Cora, 2 away in the inning.
For the Dodgers.
That's a rare little mistake by Tino Martinez. What he does is he tries to turn on the ball a little more quickly than before he had it. Watch him turn to make the throw before he actually gets it in his glove, and the ball just pops out. Of course, not an error, because he can easily get it back and touch first base for the out, but Martinez was hoping to get that out at second base.
Well, now the best Dodger hitter with runners in scoring position on the season. He ranks 6th in the league in that category, Paul Loduca. When you look at Loduca's overall numbers, they're pretty good. And you see his numbers with runners in scoring position. Loduca, National League All-Star for the first time, but even he would be the first to tell you that since that 25-game hitting streak, he has not been the same hitter.
At the All-Star game, before he actually went into the game, was warming up every pitcher. Said it's funny to have a catcher's glove on my hand again. I've been playing a lot of first base.
Popped up to the right side. Tino's got it, and that'll end the inning. 1 hit, 1 left. End of 1. The Dodgers and Cardinals scoreless in Los Angeles. Kevin Brown ranks 4th among active National League pitchers in wins, behind only Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, and Randy Johnson. He entered the season 4th among active National League pitchers in earned run average, behind only Maddux, Jesse Orosco, and Randy Johnson. Jesse still going strong down in San Diego.
He's going to make him rip the uniform off his back.
Isn't that the truth? Scott Rowland takes up and in. Rowland to begin things in the Cardinals' second of a scoreless game. Rowland, Martinez, and Renteria. Boy, how about that when your number 7 hitter is batting .329 with 61 runs batted in? That's Renteria. Oh, and by the way, he's stolen 23 bases. What a lineup.
I mean, that guy's real happy about that, but pulling his hair out over the fact that his pitchers have really struggled getting guys out.
Lined into left center field. It is up against the wall. Burnitz will barehand it, throw into second base, but a stand-up double for Rowland. Cardinals got a leadoff double in the opening inning, but left the runner at third.
This is another one of those balls that just sinks right back into the head of the bat of the right-handed hitter. Rowland all over that. Rowland's a guy in this lineup where I don't think that St. Louis really believes that he started rolling yet. Hitting at just .279 right now. I think they think he can hit closer to 300. He's never hit 300. Was a .298 hitter 1 year with Philadelphia. Always right around .280, but I think they believe in this lineup he can be even more productive.
Bunted up the third base line by Tino Martinez, and a sacrifice for Tino Martinez, moving the runner down to third. One away in the inning. How about that?
First up, number 3, Edgar Renteria.
Well, it is time once again for our Sprint Virtual Manager question. Do hitters today take too much exception to getting beamed?
Let me log on right now on that question.
Yes or no? And you can answer using your PCS Vision phone from Sprint, or log on to foxsports.com and type in the keyword MLB on Fox. So you're dialing up, and I know what your answer is.
You know what my answer is.
Yes. Right?
Yes. It's part of the game. Pitchers, and hey, bottom line, all right, I'll say it. I hate pitchers. Sorry. I was a hitter. Hate them. But come on, it's always been part of the game, except for the last 15 years, where if pitchers, number one, don't know how to pitch inside, because when they do go in there, they hit someone, the guy comes out to fight you. Go try to fight Bob Gibson when he threw inside, and I know that's a number of years back.
How about fighting a guy out there on the mound today?
Yeah, you don't want any piece of Brown. Brown's got arms on him like a middle linebacker. But Brownie's one. Hey, you show me one pitcher that does not pitch effectively inside, and I'll show you a pitcher that loses a lot of games in the big leagues.
0-2 on Renteria. And a fly ball well hit into right center field, well enough to get the runner in from third. Green's got into the warning track. Tagging and scoring is rolling. And the Cardinals manufacture a run. They get a leadoff double. Tino Martinez puts down his first sacrifice of the year.
Catcher,
and then Renteria knocks him in with a sac fly to right.
Now, if you're wondering why Martinez dropped down that bunt, he's 4 for 34 lifetime against Brown. Very tough guy to pull, so he figures if my job is to try to get that guy to third base, my best way of doing it is just dropping a bunt down the third base line. Now there you look at Tino, and the way he swings the bat and the way he has over his career, that's not a play that anyone put on. Martinez said, my job is to get him over. I'm going to do it the best way I can, and I'm bunting right here.
Well, he won 3 World Series rings with the New York Yankees. He knows what winning baseball is all about. I mentioned it was his first sacrifice this year. He had one last year, and the last one prior to that was 1996, his first as a Yankee. None from 97, 98, 99, 2000, and 01.
And to me, that's just smart baseball. That's coming up knowing your limitations. And I talked to him before the ball game about Brown, and I said, is he one of those guys you don't have good numbers on him? And he stopped me mid-sentence. He says, I don't even feel good hitting off him. He's not like one of those guys that I hit the ball well and don't get too many hits. The guy's nasty on me. I'm going to do whatever I can to get a walk somehow today, maybe eke out a base hit, do what I can to help the team. And that's exactly what he did in his first at-bat.
You don't see enough of that. That is just outstanding, sharp baseball on the part of Tino Martinez.
And, oh, by the way, because of it, they scored a run.
Exactly. I mean, the guy behind him's got to get the ball in the air like Renteria did, so he deserves credit. But Martinez knows the deal.
And, Tommy, this team has not had to worry about doing things like that very often. Tony La Russa offensively has not had to be a real National League manager because he's got an American League type batting order that goes up there and hacks and slashes and hits the ball out of the park, drive the ball around. They get, Hart's hitting over 350, Drew's over 300, Pujols almost 370, Edmonds over 300, Roland 290, Martinez 280. I mean, Renteria 330. I mean, the guys are just outstanding hitters. You don't need them to drop down too many bunts.
Matheny grounds it down to third, and Beltre throws him out, but not before the Cardinals manufacture a run. A double by Roland, a sacrifice bunt by Martinez, a sac fly by Renteria. 1-0 Redbirds. Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by Sprint, introducing PCS Vision, clearly a whole new way to look at wireless. A little bit on the muggy side here in Los Angeles, but nothing new for Danny Haren. Steve told you, from the area. And over 60 family members and friends in attendance here today. His first start at Dodger Stadium. Jeremy Burnitz lives a little south down in San Diego and thus was very excited about the deal which brought him from the Mets to the Dodgers during the All-Star break. And he's had a nice bounce back year after a rough season a year ago with the Mets. Burnitz knocked in a pair of runs in the Dodger come from behind win here last night. Good breaking ball in there, a strike, 2-1.
Now you're talking about those numbers right there, Tommy, and look at the difference between this year and last year, albeit in only 67 games, already has almost as many home runs. Much better numbers offensively. I had a long conversation with him last week about his average and the way he approaches the game right now. He's hitting about 60 points higher right now than he was last year. And he said he's finally, after all these years of playing, got a plan as to how to approach hitting. It's a little tougher for him to describe what that plan was, but he said it's more about, at this point in my career, after I've had a certain amount of success, paying me good money to play, now I don't have to worry about getting a hit today and being in the lineup tomorrow. So now it's more about an individual at bat and how I approach it, and my success is derived as to how hard I hit the ball.
And he takes a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the second inning.
If I had a bullet at the second baseman and he makes the play, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. My job now is to go up and try to hit the ball as hard as I can every time up and let the chips fall where they may. Working for him this year.
Is it ever? And you got to admire Burnitz, open and honest about his experience in New York. He said, look, if you're not productive, there's no hiding from anything in New York City. To be exposed in a way through struggles, he said, like I was last year, it made me grow a lot as a man and as a player. Line into center field, hard hit ball by Beltre, who's done a lot of that of late, but it's allowed out, one away.
Now batting.
You know, a lot of guys will leave after an experience like Burnitz had in New York, and they'll rip into the city, rip into the press and the fans for booing them. Nary a word of that from Jeremy Burnitz.
Well, we had him a couple times last year when he was absolutely, I mean, beyond struggling. He was lost, and he still showed up, was smiling in the clubhouse, had a good time. He said, hey, I'm not happy about the way I'm playing, but it's not through lack of effort or work, so I got to try to be happy and keep my attitude right, in hopes that the thing might turn around.
Mike Kincaid at 248, 5 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Kincaid getting the start at first base today, and a breaking ball from Haren in there, a strike. Haren began the year as a non-roster player. They didn't need to put him on the 40-man roster because he hadn't been in the organization but a couple of seasons. He wore out Double-A. They moved him to Triple-A, as we mentioned. And with all the struggles and a couple of injuries, he now finds himself at the big league level. They love his makeup. Dave Duncan talked about him at length with us earlier this morning. And they believe he is going to be a solid, dependable pitcher, something that the Cardinals have not had much of through most of this year.
Well, Mike Matheny was talking about him. He said one of the things that I like about him is he's got such command of his two nastiest pitches, slider and his splitter. He'll throw either one of them at any time in the count. And a lot of pitchers, when if they have a great split finger pitch, they don't throw it for a strike, so they can't throw it early in the count. You got to get ahead with something else and then get you to swing at that split finger when you're trying to protect the plate. It looks like a fastball and drops into the dirt. If you lay off of that pitch and you're trying to throw that early in the count, now you're just behind in the count. This guy can throw it anytime he wants.
Cardinals with a 1-0 lead, runner at first, one away, and it's a ball and 2 strikes on Kincaid. Got away with a little hanger there, and it's fouled over the screen and out of play.
That ball didn't break, and Kincaid almost hit that right off the batting gloves.
That would have hit him in the right shoulder.
that's what's called severely in your kitchen. Watch him try to pull his hands in to try to get the bat head on the ball. Boy, that's amazing, because if he didn't have that last bit of quickness, that probably would have hit him right off the knuckles.
Puffs back with a fastball at 93 miles per hour and strikes him out.
Boy, that's nice to be able to see a guy go to a four-seam fastball like that. You got him thinking in. This isn't a sinker. This is a four-seamer. Stay straight. Nice picture of the angle right there. Right to the outside corner. No sink, no movement. Just try to throw it by a guy. Nice.
Now the shortstop, Cesar Izturis, at 256, 22 runs batted in, rolling in on the grass at third. And Izturis slaps it foul, third base side out of play.
You know, it's early in this ball game, and the Dodgers have started to show signs of coming out of it offensively, but this is an offense that has struggled. And Haren comes in here with an ERA of over 5.2, but the kid looks like he knows how to pitch.
Well, I mean, let's face it. When they brought him up, his first couple of starts were against the Giants, one of those against Jason Schmidt. And the Giants, you talk about a team that owned the Cardinals this season. The Giants beat St. Louis 5 out of 6 times. That one served into short center, and Renteria out to get it, and that'll end the inning. A leadoff walk with 3 straight set down, 1-0 St. Louis, and we're back after a break from your local Fox station. Few Cardinal fans here at Dodger Stadium today, and the Redbirds out in front against Kevin Brown, 1-0.
How about Haren airing out his first pitch right there from Brown? He was trying to jump the yard on him.
Well, you see, he already has 1 hit in 4 career at-bats. It was his very first career at-bat against none other than the National League's all-star starting pitcher, Jason Schmidt. A double. Steve, I know that you looked at some of the numbers for this young man when he was playing collegiately. Not only a great pitcher, he could hit.
He was the West Coast Player of the Year in 2001. He DH'd when he wasn't pitching, hit over 300, 5 homers, 47 RBIs. That's getting it done. Not against Browning.
I was going to say, Kevin Brown wasn't pitching in that conference. Well, while we have a moment,
now batting,
time to take a look at our Radio Shack trivia question today. This is a good one. Who is the last National League batting champion not to come from a National League Western Division? I mean, even the most diehard National League fans may have a hard time coming up with this one. I know one guy could tell you the answer to it, and he wasn't even in the National League. That would be Tony La Russa. That's a hint. And the only one you're getting, Steve, the only one you're getting. 1-1 to Bo Hart, who doubled the right center field his first time up.
How many batting titles will that guy win before he's done?
He might win in his 3rd full year this season.
What a player he is.
Oh. Off the end of the bat into short center field, coming on hard and making the running play is Holbert Cabrera. 2 away.
Cabrera filling in at center field today. This ball right off the end of the bat. Bo Hart, good looking swing, just couldn't reach it. Cabrera gets a nice jump on the ball. Cabrera plays all over the place. Center field not necessarily his best place to play, but you got to remember, when Ricky Henderson is in the lineup, they move Burnitz to center field. Burnitz naturally a corner outfielder. This team has prided itself on its defense over this run. Pitching and defense has really been the key to the Dodgers' success so far this season. Certainly not their hitting, but their defense will take a hit in the outfield with Ricky in left, who has not been a great defensive player for a number of years now, and Burnitz playing center field, which is not his natural position. Good look at Ricky.
Chilling.
Joe, I mean, at nighttime he's Joe. He wears sunglasses at night just because he's so cool. The sun's always shining.
Base hit in the right center field by J.D. Drew, who keeps the inning alive again for Albert Pujols. Well, we talked about a triple crown may not be far away in the career for Albert Pujols. Look at those gaudy numbers. Joe Medwick won the triple crown in 1937. The great Mickey Mantle with the Yankees in 56. The last man, Carl Yastrzemski with Boston in 67. Really the only two players you take a look at, Steve, that you figure would have a chance to do it, and it is so difficult. That's not even the right word. But they would be Pujols and Todd Helton. Helton not nearly the thunder that Pujols has, but he does play at the mile-high altitude.
Well, you want to know how tough it is to do. You're trying to lead the league in average home runs and RBIs. Talking about the whole league, Pujols doesn't lead his team in home runs. Edmonds got 29.
Albert got number 28 here last night. And there's strike 2 and 1.
What I think is amazing about Pujols is that he is kind of a front foot hitter. He will get the top half of his body out over his lead leg, but he keeps his hands back so well, and then he weight transfers back to that back leg as he's swinging. It's amazing. There's the home run from last night. Oh, goodness. That ball's landing in the blue seats out there.
3-1. Brown throws him a slider on a 3-1 pitch, and he fouls off.
I think that's why he is such a tough hitter to fool, because on the replay of that home run, you saw him stand straight up, take a great swing at a ball, and just hammer it. When he gets fooled a little bit, his front leg breaks down just a little. His top half comes with him a little, but he keeps his hands back so well that he's still got not only power to hit the ball and hit it in a gap, but hit it out of the park that way too.
Broken bat flare into short left field, and it will fall in. A base hit. Advancing on to third base is J.D. Drew, and right there gives you an idea of why Pujols comes in hitting .369.
That's just a jam shot right there. So strong, breaks his bat, gets it over his tourist head at short. He kind of turned the wrong way on that ball at first. Don't know if he would have been able to catch it anyway. Look at the strength. Very short stride. Look at the back leg in there. Those are some big legs. Very wide, spread out stance for Pujols.
Same thing for Jim Edmonds.
Edmonds is a guy that, when he was with the Angels and struggled against left-handed pitching.
That one thrown away on the pickoff attempt at first. It'll bring in Drew from third. It makes you wonder why. Pujols has only attempted 2 stolen bases all year long. They don't need a double play ball here to end an inning. And yet Brown throws over, and the error cost him a run.
Pujols is only 2 steps off the base. Kincaid, another guy playing somewhat out of position. First base probably not his best place. Outfielder in AAA, has played first. Not a good throw by Brown into the runner. No reason to do that.
And then you get Edmonds on a roller to the right side, which could have ended the inning with a score 1-0. Instead of throwing error by Brown, gets away from Kincaid, and it's 2-0.
Anheuser-Busch and the Dodgers have joined together to
St. Louis in front 2-0 as Kevin Brown will lead things off here in the bottom of the third inning. Brown 7 hits and 36 at bats, has a couple of doubles, couple of RBIs. Good breaking ball in there from Danny Haren. Steve, why the throw to first?
Well, that's what we talked about before the break there. Kincaid can't get his glove on, or he does get his glove on it, but it handcuffs him. But why is Brown throwing over there anyway? Where's Pujols going? As Brownie grounds out. Let's look at it one more time. Pujols isn't more than 2 steps off the bag. He's not running. This throw will handcuff Kincaid into the runner. Can't really reach all the way in there and get it. A lot of the complaints that a first baseman will have, too, is that a pitcher will get in his mind what he wants to pitch. Like, say, Brown's going to throw a cutter, and then he decides to pick someone off. Well, he's still got that cutter grip. Ball sails on you, goes into the runner, you can't get it. Mental error right there. No reason to throw that ball over to first base.
Well, we'll see if it ends up costing the Dodgers before this one is over. They trail by 2, and now back to the top of the order in Cabrera. And a slider in there from Haren in there, strike 1. Holbert grounded out to Bo Hart his first time up. Steve, I don't know about you, and you were a guy that played a lot of different positions, a lot like Holbert Cabrera. I always find it very interesting when you read little numbers and you read stats about players and teams, and when a player is in a starting lineup, what is the record of the team? When Cabrera is in the lineup so far this season, the Dodgers have been mighty good. That one bounced foul over third base.
Roland just wanted to show off his arm.
Why not?
What a cannon he has.
But the Dodgers are 27-15 in the games that Cabrera starts this year.
You know, I think some of that clearly can be overrated, but there is a different spark sometimes when Cabrera gets in there, especially at the top of the lineup. He is a kid that can make things happen. I think that they also believe that he's a guy that you can overexpose. If he's in the lineup every day, they start to figure out his weaknesses. You can pitch to him. When he gets in there maybe 2 or 3 times a week, sporadically, he comes off the bench with some spark and gives his team some life.
But you know that's what the fan is saying. I mean, when they see a number like that, they're saying, oh, wait a minute now. We're playing all these other guys that are hitting 230 and hitting 240, and the Dodgers have had a lot of those guys. So if the numbers tell you there are 12 games over 500 when he's in there, and they're only 7 over for the season, why isn't he in there?
Well, because clearly this year, too, they've had guys that are their starters that are supposed to be more productive than Holbert Cabrera is supposed to be. And like I said before, if you have him in there every day, his numbers may look like 230 or 240 as well. He is a good role player, good part-time player. And that's difficult to beat. It's hard to be successful when you don't play every day. Coming in off the bench, getting 3 starts a week, never really feeling good at the plate. Your timing's never always there. If you have that ability, that gives Jim Tracy a nice weapon to have off the bench and as a part-time starter.
That one shot into right field, a base hit by Cabrera. And he's going to try and turn it into a double. Drew's throw is in time. What a play by Renteria. The throw off the bag. Renteria went and got it, picked it out of the dirt, and laid on the tag. And Jim Tracy is going to debate that with Terry Kraft, the second base umpire.
Jim Tracy's going to come out and argue this one. I haven't seen a replay of it, but I think this is the right call. They did tag him on the back of the leg, but Renteria got the ball far enough away from the bag, I think, to tag him before he made it to second base. Here's the throw by Drew. It surprised him a little bit. Renteria, quick tag on the back of the foot before he reaches the bag. That's a good call, and Renteria made a nice play. Watch the grab and tag all in one motion.
Second baseman, Alex Cora.
Reverse view of it right there, tagged him right before he got to the bag. What a great angle that is. Also an angle that Crisp, the umpire, cannot see.
Of course, we have the benefit of that slow motion replay. Terry Kraft out there at second base. Did the hand touch the bag before the glove touched the foot?
There's the tag.
Boom.
His hand is not on the bag yet. Now, we talk so much about it, Tommy, in our broadcast, how umpires seem to get buried all the time. You can see the glove clearly on the back of the leg. He's not reached second base yet. Terry Kraft right on top of the call. I just think those guys do an outstanding job day to day, every day. You know, it's funny when you look at the score of the game, 2-0. The Dodgers have struggled offensively, and we talked about Cabrera and the life that he adds to this team. I don't think that was a bad play at all. It would have been an outstanding hustle double if he was safe. It took a great play to get him out. And it's one of those plays, too, where, hey, you take a chance, you try to, breathe some life into this club. If I'm Jim Tracy, I'm not at all disappointed that he got thrown out at second base.
Well, and you use the right word. A word that is oftentimes overused. But that play by Renteria was a great play. I'm not so sure that at the end of the day, season in, season out, that Renteria is not the most underrated player in the major leagues today.
Watch how he gets the tag. That is one of those Olay type of plays. In order to catch that ball, you have to get your glove on the ground and then try to time the bounce as you're coming up with your glove. Now catch it and reverse the action and go back and tag a guy at the same time. This is like backhanding a hot shot at you. Look at the way Renteria's fielding it like it's a ground ball. He catches it, then has the presence of mind to try to get a tag on the back leg of Cabrera as he's sliding by. Amazing.
In the air, well hit right field. Back to the wall is Drew. Goodbye. Alex Cora, his second home run of the season.
He just dropped the bat head. This is a dangerous pitch to any left-hander. Cora with just one homer on the year. That's his second. But when you throw a down and in fastball and you allow the hitter to just drop his bat head through that hitting zone, that's his biggest power position he'll ever have.
Now Shawn Green. So here in the top of the second, you have an errant throw made by Kevin Brown. And it begs a simple question, why, which brought in a run. And then in the bottom of the inning, as that one is shot into left field by Green, this will be a two-base hit. The 34th double of the year for Shawn Green. But in the bottom of the inning, Dodger fans are going to say, why stretch a single into a double when you're thrown out and the next guy hits the ball out of the ballpark?
Oh, no question. And you're always going to have those detractors. We can always look after the play what happens. I mean, who knows if Cora gets the same pitch to hit with Cabrera standing on second base, and who knows that Cora goes up there with the same mindset. He may be thinking, hey, I'm going to bang a ball in the left center field just to drive in this run. I don't know. If I manage a club, and I think Jim Tracy is exactly the same, unless you do things stupidly aggressive, I want you to try to do any play you can. Force the opposition to get you out. Make them make a play to get you out, and that's what Cabrera did.
Well, now the tying run for the Dodgers is Green at second base, and here is Loduca. He came to the plate with Cora at second in the opening inning and popped up. Down low to Paul Loduca.
Look at that. I mean, this is a guy that was hustling all the way out of the box, made the turn. He took a quick look at J.D. Drew and thought that maybe he wasn't hustling after the ball. And also, you got to remember J.D. Drew with the bad knee out there figures I might challenge him the same way that the St. Louis club may challenge Brown anytime they get a chance to bunt or have him field any plays.
1-1 on Paul Loduca. Reaching the All-Star game, an amazing accomplishment for any big league player, but for a guy like Loduca, you talk about a long shot. 7 years spent in the Dodgers minor league system, never getting a chance with the big league club until Jim Tracy took over and said, I like what I see. Slow roller. Renteria charges. It took a funny hop. He throws him out. That's a big league shortstop there, boy. Renteria, a couple of excellent plays in the inning. Cora homers to slice the lead in half. Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by Gillette Mach 3 Turbo for the closest shave with less irritation even against the grain, and by KFC. There's fast food, then there's KFC. Alongside Steve Lyons, our producer Michael Weissman, our director Jim Lynch, and our entire crew, I'm Tom Brenneman at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. A 2-1 St. Louis lead. Kevin Brown, his first start, just activated from the disabled list before the game today. His first since the 3rd of the month. Oh, and 2 to Roland.
How much happier is this kid playing much closer to home? Grew up being a Cardinal fan, getting out of Philly. After his first couple seasons there, things went south between him and management. He couldn't see straight till he got out of town.
Swing and a miss. Brown just blew him away. All right, it's time to answer our Radio Shack trivia question. Who was the last National League batting champion not to come out of the National League West? And why would Tony La Russa know the answer is Willie McGee? Because McGee was traded leading the National League in batting in 1990 with the Cardinals, traded to Tony La Russa's Oakland A's, and still won the National League batting title, despite the fact that he did not play in the National League for the last, well, nearly 2 months of that year.
Had enough at bats to win it.
Indeed. Take a look at all the National League batting champions since that time. 91, Terry Pendleton. And you're saying, what do you mean National League West? Well, Atlanta was in the National League West in 91. Tony Gwynn, 4 consecutive years. Larry Walker with a couple of them in there. And then last year, of course, the amazing Barry Bonds. Hit .370. The Cardinals know all about facing the National League Western Division this year. We gave you some of the numbers. They lost to an Arizona team at home 2 out of 3 early in the year that basically was playing with their minor league roster. They got hammered by the Giants, and that's the only way to describe it. Had the Giants won the 3rd and final game of that series at Busch, it would have been the first 3-game sweep for a Giant team in St. Louis since 1912. And the Dodgers are 4-0 against them this year.
Keep records back then?
Well, Daddy Wangs was around.
Oh, that's right.
And by the way, I said a 3-game series. That was a 4-game series.
Flew in from Cincinnati to check it out. How about Brownie right there? Stopped in the middle of his motion, decided he didn't want to throw that pitch, picked a different one, and got Martinez to pop up.
Well, what do you think so far of Kevin Brown here today? He's gone the front 3 2/3 innings, 4 strikeouts, has not walked a batter, has allowed 2 runs, 1 earned.
I don't think you're seeing vintage Kevin Brown by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think I see his sinker biting as hard as it does. His location's pretty good. That ball up as well. Still broke the bat.
Renteria grounds out to Cora in a 1-2-3-4. The first perfect inning for Kevin Brown today. He trails 2-1. Now take a look at this. Jeremy Burnitz, when he stares in the mirror, has to wonder, what will I look like maybe in about 10 years from now when I'm Steve Lyons' age?
He might look just like me. He's mini-me. I love you, mini-me. You complete me.
Now, Steve, you have to look in the mirror, unfortunately, every day, and frequently, I might add.
And just stare at myself.
But let me add, now, how do you feel about our producer Michael Weissman suggesting that you look like Jeremy Burnitz?
Well, I know if I could hit like that, I'd be all right.
Down the right field line and through in front of the wall.
See, that is
power.
just the way I hit right there. Warning track. There's another lazy, weak fly ball. See, Burnitz comes to L.A., starts hitting like me. Let me get rid of this helmet.
That is eerie.
I would have loved to wear a Dodger helmet, too.
Dodger look on you. What are they giving those away today, right?
I don't know. I think we bought it down at the
But you didn't
shop.
buy it.
I'm taking it home.
Wow. Well, we're going to have to come back to that again.
Burnett even has more hair than I do, and his head's shaved.
Well, he doesn't have that do that you've got working right now. On the outside corner of strike to Adrian Beltre.
I did, in the opening of the show, have the Hair Club for Men do going, didn't I? It was like I drove a convertible to work. You can swim with this hair. You can take showers. You can go hiking. It never comes off.
Wow. And you took a lot of heat for it, but you handled it like a champ.
Yeah, our producer, Mike Weissman, didn't bury me about it.
That's why we redid the Open about 7 times today. Found back out of play.
Because we were perfect. But he kept saying, can't you fix your hair? What's up with that dude? You look like you had a helmet head.
1-2 the count on Adrian Beltre. Struck him out. Second strikeout of the afternoon for the Dodgers. Here's our Pepsi fan cam, and we asked some of the fans about Ricky.
Henderson, I think of endurance, and I think of strength, and I think of speed, always.
And I think of leadoff home run.
Stolen bases.
When you think of Ricky Henderson, what do you think of?
Great player.
How about yourself?
I think of an old man, but he's a very good player.
He's my age.
How about the one girl that dropped in leadoff home runs? She did her homework. She's got 80 of them in his career. Far and away the best ever.
It was very interesting to talk to Tony La Russa about Ricky Henderson before the game today, and he said, make no mistake about it. He said Ricky Henderson knows himself better than any player perhaps I've ever been around, as you see at some of the all-time accomplishments.
Yes, but how would Ricky say that? Ricky knows Ricky.
It's exactly the way he would say it.
Ricky talks about himself in third party.
Well, La Russa went on to say, he said, believe me when I tell you, he said, I wanted to sign the guy back in spring training. He said, but, you know, we just did not have enough room on this roster, and there are players that are better bench players maybe than Henderson. But he said, if Henderson says that he believes he can still play at the big league level, he said, make no mistake about it. He would not kid himself, nor would he kid anybody else and go out there and embarrass himself. He said, this guy, if he says he can play, he can play.
Well, Ricky's ability has spoken for itself for a number of years.
A ball in the air, right center field, on the run, J.D. Drew, and he'll get there to run the inning. Haren with a perfect 4th. We move to the 5th, where the Cardinals lead Kevin Brown and the Dodgers 2-1. And a 4-2 runs, 4 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base for St. Louis against Kevin Brown. The Dodgers 1 run, 4 hits, a big error by Brown, which brought in the second Cardinal run. And 3 men left on base. Brown has retired 4 in a row since a throwing error, and now he'll face Matheny, Haren, then roll over to Bo Hart.
You know, it's funny. We talked about that play that Brown made where he threw over to Kincaid and the ball got by, and we absolutely said, what was the word I was trying to look for there? Unilaterally? Yes. I couldn't spit it out.
That's it.
It was too many syllables for me. Everybody in the booth said it was a stupid play. Is that better? But Brownie's the kind of competitor where not only does he pitch, but he really gets into the game so much he starts thinking he can do everything.
Caught on a bullet off the bat by Matheny. To the shortstop, his Turris.
You see that ball come back to his Turris with the spin on that ball, almost took his head off. Watch his Turris go after this ball, and we see if you'll see it on this replay. The spin on this ball off of the bat, the thing's going to hook back towards his Turris. Watch him get his head out of the way. Whoa, look out, it almost took his head off. He thought he was going to have to reach out for it. Instead, he almost ran by it.
What is that, top spin? Or did it almost come out like a knuckler?
No, it was a real hook spin, almost like the way you play golf. You got a little snappy.
One gone for Haren. Oh, now I fully understand. High ball 1.
Haren at the plate. We already talked about the fact that he could swing the bat at Pepperdine. Walked by him before today's ball game. I said, can you still swing it? He said, yeah, sometimes. But when you look at the pitchers on this staff, when we always used to talk about the pitching staff for the Atlanta Braves, that they could all swing the bats. The pitchers in St. Louis hit almost 230, a 229 average, not bad for pitchers. You know what their pinch hitters hit? 227. They better start running Woody Williams up there to take some hacks.
Rounded up the third base line, fielded by Beltray. Time to plant a throw. 2 up and 2 down. Well, next week, Fox Saturday Baseball returns when the Cubs visit the Astros. Both teams trying to keep pace in the competitive National League Central. Or the Yankees renew their rivalry with Boston. Then later, the Athletics take on the Angels. Both teams trying to gain ground on Seattle in the AL West. It all begins next week with This Week in Baseball at 12:30 Pacific, 11:30 Central, right here on Fox. Two down for Bo Hart, 1 of 2. Double to lead off the game, and then popped up in the shallow center in the third. He's down a strike.
Yeah, Tommy, I almost dislike the real polite kids in the game like Bo Hart. I went and introduced myself to him. I had never met him before, and he says, "Oh, hey, Mr. Lyons, I've been watching you for a long time." You know, I keep looking around for my father when people call me Mr. Lyons.
I mean, everybody who has spent any time around this young man echoes the exact same thing you just said. We were talking to Wayne Hagan, the first-year radio voice of the St. Louis Cardinals, and he said Bo Hart came up to him, handed him a business card. Bo Hart was working out of the Scottsdale Fashion Square Mall selling shoes at a Nordstrom this past offseason to make ends meet.
Great kid.
Handed him a business card.
There you go. Was he working in the women's department?
Yes, he was. You want to go any further than that?
You gotta sell those pumps.
Fox Saturday Baseball brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. By Viagra. Step up to the plate and ask your doctor for a free sample of Viagra. Is it right for you? And by Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Good crowd on hand this Saturday afternoon at Dodger Stadium, and a good ball game. Cardinals in front behind the rookie right-hander Danny Haren. Out pitching Kevin Brown so far. 2-1 St. Louis. Is Turris, Brown, and Cabrera coming up here in the LA fifth. 2-0 on his Turris, who popped up to the shortstop his first time up. Two and one.
Haren's been pretty much exactly what was advertised, with a decent fastball, sinking fastball, good four-seamer, getting ahead and then throwing the slider and the split finger, getting guys to chase it. Hitting his spots, has not been overwhelmed at all, or with the fact that he's got 60 family members and friends here. Very composed and has done a nice job.
Sharply hit, but right at Renteria, who throws out his counterpart. 1 away. Well, this week's clutch performance brought to you by Viagra. We go back to the Windy City, the All-Star game in Chicago. The Rangers' Hank Blaylock slugged an 8th inning pinch hit 2-run home run off Eric Gagne and gave the American League All-Stars a 7-6 victory. That was a clutch performance.
Who sponsors the clutch performance?
Viagra.
Wow. I could use a clutch performance. Whoa! Watch out, Scotty.
That hit rolling, and he still recovers. That's a fair ball and a base hit. Wow. That is absolutely unbelievable.
And that's extremely dangerous.
Rolling the wherewithal to get out of the way and almost made the play.
Look at this bat coming. You got to remember that thing's sliced in half. That thing's like a knife at one end of the bat and a club at the other end. That's severely getting in someone's kitchen. Look where that ball hits Brown's bat. He's left with a splinter. You know what? This is still a great play by Scott Rowland. Gets out of the way of the bat, still comes in and tries to make the play on the ball. And it goes for naught. It's a base hit.
Not only did he dodge the bat the first go round, then kick the bat. He's lucky he didn't roll his ankle over on top of it as it came by his right foot.
That's just scary. And we've seen so much of that this year.
0-1 to Holbert Cabrera, and Brown staying put. Brown not going to run much, and this could be an interesting play if Brown is forced to run on a ball in the gap or down either line. One to Cabrera, and it's down the left field line, and let's keep an eye on Kevin Brown. He's just now getting to second base and very slowly gets into third.
Well, if you're a Dodger fan, it's unfortunate that Kevin Brown was the guy on first base. I don't know if someone else could have scored on this ball from first, but you would have had a much better opportunity. Remember, Brown still coming off of that injury. Cabrera doing great things at the plate again, but watch Brown can't run with the abdominal strain. All he's doing is trying to make sure that he can get to third base, and it looks like it's bothering him there. You know, not only was he running gingerly, Tommy, it looked like it was actually bothering him there.
You're right. He ran much better from first to second than he did from second to third. And now, representing the tying run with all the problems you're having scoring on a contact play, and I'm not sure you would anyway with any pitcher in the big leagues, but certainly you wouldn't send Brown. But what about on a shallow fly ball into the outfield? Medium depth fly ball. Absolutely. The ball has to get through on the infield and you score, but on a medium fly ball you don't send them. You can't. You cannot afford to send them. Runners at second and third, and a breaking ball is in there. A strike to Cora's 2 for 2 today. Watch Brown now. He's going first to second, looking like he's protecting that abdominal. Now it looks like it hurts. Well, certainly the Dodgers looking at the big picture, the remainder of this season, rather than perhaps scoring a run in the bottom of the 5th inning in the middle of July. He can trot home. Nope, just foul. Not by much. Tommy, the other factor is, even though Cora hit a home run in his last at-bat, only his second of the season, Cora doesn't have the power on an everyday basis to hit a deep fly ball. If he hits a fly ball, you're going to, other than this one here where he hit it out of the ballpark in the 3rd inning. But St. Louis isn't looking for Cora to hit a ball deep into the outfield, therefore making it even more difficult for Brown to score on any kind of fly ball. Excellent numbers for Cora with runners in scoring position. And they're at second and third. Fastball sails away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brown the tying run at third. Cabrera the go-ahead run leads at second. I think Haren's got to throw the split finger or the slider right here. There's a beach ball on the field. We're going to have a little delay there, but he has to make sure that Cora hits the ball on the ground, or he can get a strikeout. Bounce a splitter up there. He's got confidence in Matheny that with a guy on third base, Matheny will block the ball. Well, now a beach ball comes out of the left field stands. Well, it is L.A. It's L.A., Tom. I understand. I'm just wondering if we'll get the trifecta. Will one come over at the center field wall before the next pitch? That one's not going anywhere. 1-2 on Cora, infield in. And he's able to foul it off and stay alive. Good pitch there by Haren. Excellent location on the fastball at 92. That one was fouled straight back off of the glove wrist of Matheny. Watch it up over the top of the glove. Hits him off the wrist, hits him off the elbow, catches him on the shoulder, all on the way by. Bip, bip, bip. That hurts. You get 3 bruises on 1 play. Runner at third, the tying run, 1 out. And a fastball outside. Cora works a count to 2-2 after falling behind here in 0-2. This is a big pitch coming up right here, knowing Sean Green is in the on-deck circle.
Split finger in the dirt.
Two to Cora. Down and away from him again. Haren with good command on that pitch, and he's making good pitches, but Cora continues to foul away, and now he needs a new bat.
This is a huge at-bat for the Dodgers, not only just in the lineup. You see that thing, just a sinking fastball away, hitting the glove every time. If Cora can get on or do some damage with this at-bat, then you get Green to come up. You know, you can really start to get some momentum offensively for the Dodgers after this All-Star break, where they've played very well, especially against the St. Louis team. And you have to start somewhere to get some momentum going. Win 2 or 3 games in a row, score some runs in those games, take some pressure off your pitching staff, and start to believe that you can score on a day-to-day basis, not just a game here and a game there. Big at-bat.
2-2 to Cora. Runners at second and third. And Cora serves it down the left field line. Foul. The next pitch will be the 9th pitch in this at-bat between Haren and Cora.
I'm surprised here, Tommy. I'm thinking you got to change Cora's eye line here. They've gone fastball down and away the last 4 pitches. Either a split finger or a hard slider down and in right here would get him out, I think.
They're setting up in. And they got him on that slider down and in that you just called for.
It takes a lot of guts for a young pitcher to throw this pitch, because if you hang it, it gets hard. Look at the movement, late movement. Look where Matheny was set up. This is a great job by pitcher and catcher. Look at the way Matheny sets up, begging his pitcher. That's the split finger right there. Begging his pitcher to throw that ball down and in off the back leg of Cora. Boy, nice battling by Cora, but Haren gets the job done in the end.
And now Sean Green coming up. He grounded out to first in the first. He doubled down the left field line in the third. You have LaDuca in the on-deck circle, who's not hit the ball out of the infield against Haren. Ball 1 low and away to Green. Well, all Dodger fans are well aware. They just got Cora to strike out, but the Dodgers are going nowhere this season. We brought it up earlier. If guys like Green and Beltre, among others, don't pick it up. And these are the spots where Sean Green is paid big money to knock in runs.
And Green has to look at this as somewhat of an insult, because there have been times in his career where there would be no way they'd let him hit right here. They'd take the bat out of his hands and walk him. Not throwing him anything to hit.
Green's got to be ready to hit 3-0. They set up way outside, and that's that intentional walk, and they'll take their chances with LaDuca. Haren has pitched LaDuca tough today. He got him on a weak pop-up in the infield to Tino Martinez ending the first inning with a runner in scoring position. And then with Green at second base in the third, LaDuca grounded out to Renteria.
Where LaDuca shines, though, men in scoring position.
No doubt about it. And a rocket and a leaping play to take away a hit and a couple of RBIs by Bohart. He has been so good defensively since taking over for the Gold Glove winning Red Fernando Vina. And he saved a couple of runs for the rookie right-hander here. Bohart sparkling defensively at second base since coming up from the minor leagues, and no different here with the bases juiced.
LaDuca all over that pitch. That ball gets into the gap. Maybe you score 3. You get nothing.
A 2-1 ball game as we open the 6th inning. The heart of the order coming up against Kevin Brown, J.D. Drew, Albert Pujols, and Jim Edmonds. Drew 1 of 2, singled and scored in the 3rd inning. He scored on that errant pickoff throw by Kevin Brown when Pujols was over at first with 2 away in the inning. Base hit left field by J.D. Drew. Well, here comes Fat Albert. And please read the writing.
Fat, how can you say? What are you talking about?
You're the California guy. P-H-A-T. That is an affectionate term. I learned that from you.
It's Fat Albert. And I'm gonna
sing it, Tommy. I know you know the words.
I know, it's a great show.
And Bill's gonna show you a thing or two.
And this guy can show you a thing or two.
You'll have to find out.
Could be a background singer.
All the gang, learning from each other while we do our thing.
We pull out all the stops.
No, we haven't pulled out all the stops until you go solo on that song.
Well, that's when an enormous click would be heard across the country if it's not been heard already. Runner goes. And Pujols just drops it down the right field line. Wow.
And when was the last time, Tommy, you could think of a guy that's hitting 370, hitting and running? This is a hit and run right here. Pujols has to swing the bat. Does a great job of trying to get to the right side. Drew was running on that pitch. Two reasons why I know that was a hit and run, because Pujols doesn't swing at that pitch if it's not, and Drew doesn't steal if it's not. He still has the bad knee. It's his right knee. It's the knee he has to turn on when he turns to steal a base. He says it's very hard to get his secondary lead too because of that shuffle off the base that you have to do. Still very painful to do that. He's not running on his own.
1-1 to Albert. Brown dropped down through that one 3/4, nearly sidearm, and it nearly sailed away from LaDuca. 2-1 to Albert Pujols. Pujols grew up in the Dominican Republic, the youngest of 11 children, but with no mother, and his dad going off for long periods of time to work. His grandmother and grandfather really raised him. Then he wound up spending a lot of time with his aunt and uncle, and they moved to New York, wound up in Independence, Missouri. Double play. Wipes the bases clean. Let's send it for a game break down the road to Jeannie Zelasco. Hi, Jeannie.
Hi, Tom. Steve, it's Barry Bonds, and we're showing it to you. What do you think happened? The camera couldn't even keep up, so we'll clarify it. There it is, home run number 31 on the season, 644 of his career. Top 6, the Giants out in front of the Rockies, 4-2.
The amazing Barry Bonds, I believe now 15 home runs away from catching his godfather for third on the all-time home run list, behind only Hammer and Hank Aaron and Babe Ruth. Edmonds jammed with a pitch, fouls it out of play. Well, the Giants have led the National League's Western Division every day this season. Of course, the Dodgers made that run when they ripped off 10 straight to move into a tie at the end of June. Arizona has caught fire to move to 12 games over 500, but 5 behind the Giants. And those two teams will meet 4 times beginning Monday in San Francisco this coming week.
That should be a good series when you talk about the Giants and the outstanding start they had and the terrible start that the Diamondbacks had. And now that they're both playing pretty good baseball, you might see what the class of the division really is.
Edmonds just threw the bat at the ball to make contact. He did make contact, and it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now he'll wait on the bat.
Well, Edmonds came into this game with an 11-game hitting streak because he just throws that bat at the ball. But he said, I'm not feeling that good. I don't feel that good at the plate. The All-Star game always takes a lot out of you when you go and participate in that. But I could use a couple days off.
One and 2 to Jim Edmonds. And again, fouled back out of play.
Tommy, we started to talk about how Edmonds, when he was with the Anaheim Angels, was struggling against left-handers, so he widened his stance and stopped striding. All he does is pick that right foot up and put it back in the same spot. Doesn't even really get it off the ground. Now he does it against everybody.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Middle to 6, 2-1. Redbirds in front. 2-1 ball game. Cardinals in front. Our game summary brought to you by GMC Professional Grade. A very impressive start for Danny Haren going up against one of the game's greats in Kevin Brown. Brown's throwing error the difference right now in a 1-run ball game, and Loduca generally lights out with runners in scoring position is 0 for 3 today.
And Dodger fans out there that are still trying to believe in this organization that they can turn it around this season might point to the fact, hey, this is the same old Dodger team that can't score runs. We have second and third in a 2-1 game. We have our two best hitters coming up. Green walks. Loduca doesn't get it done, although he hit a bullet. But bottom line, 0. They came up empty. Didn't get it done. There's Paulie. Cora mixed in a strikeout in that same sequence.
1-2 now on Burnett. Boy, how badly do the Cardinals need a starting effort like they're getting through the front 5 today from the rookie right-hander Danny Haren. Their pitching has been abysmal this season. And the Cardinals have great fans, knowledgeable fans, and fans that want to believe in every aspect of this team, but the numbers just simply do not lie. We said right when the game got underway that it's hard to imagine there is a better offensive position player lineup in the major leagues today than the St. Louis Cardinals put out there over the course of a 162 game schedule. Well, they have the 8th highest payroll in the major leagues at $83 million. Many wonder if they're able to spend any more money to go get a pitcher, and they need one. It's one thing to win your division. In St. Louis, they're thinking about a National League pennant and maybe winning a World Series. With the pitching they have right now, as there is one lined into right, caught by Drew for the first out of the inning. People may not want to hear it, but with the pitching they have right now, it is not good enough to win the National League pennant.
No, it's not. Not the way the guys are pitching. And, you know, if you're going to look at the first half stats and think that it's going to continue, no chance you win the division. Not when the Astros will play better ball in the second half, and not when the Chicago Cubs can throw a pitching staff at you with about 4 guys that top out at about 98 miles an hour apiece.
Well, that's the thing about that National League Central Division. Each team has a strong suit as Beltre lifts a fly ball into left center field. And that'll be the second out of the inning. More on that in a moment. Let's send it back to Jeannie Zelasco for a game break.
Aces loaded 2 out in New York. Just an innocent dribbler up the middle by Jason Giambi. Not so innocent when one of the runners was Derek Jeter on base, already in motion. He would score, and so would a few others. A rare 3-run single for Giambi. Yankees up front, top 6.
2 up, 2 down, bottom of the 6th inning. And Haren trying to put down the side in order. Steve, you look at that National League Central. And right now, the only team that has really taken a, proverbial bull by the horn, so to speak, is Houston. I mean, they're finally putting it together in their rotation. It's not great, but it's better than it's been any time all year. They have the best bullpen by far in the division. The Cubs have excellent starting pitching, a shaky bullpen. Offense has been the problem for them. The Cardinals are great hitting, the poor pitching. And Cincinnati, a lineup that can stack up with just about anybody outside of St. Louis. Abysmal pitching in the Queen City.
A lot of holes on any team in that division. Yeah, when you look at the Dodgers, we already talked about what they are doing defensively today with Kincaid at first base, and the play that Brown had when he threw over there and it got away and it cost them a run. And when Ricky Henderson is playing left field and you have Burnett in center, takes away from their defense.
And he just did Kid Kincaid, and Kincaid disagreeing with Field and Colbert, the first base umpire. So too is John Shelby, and he rarely argues. You take a look. End of 6, 2 runs, 5 hits for St. Louis. Only 1 run, 6 hits for the Dodgers. They thought they had a 7th hit here, and they did.
Yeah, I think Kincaid beat that out. And we talked about the play at second base where Cabrera slid in and the umpire made the right call. First base right there. Fielding Culbreth right there. Made the wrong call. It was safe. Tough call. Very close, but he missed it. You can see right there as Kincaid's foot is coming down on the bag. You can still see the ball not quite in the glove of Tino Martinez. And what does Kincaid get for his efforts?
Rolling a fly ball in the deep center field. Cabrera drifting a little further, and it sails over the center field wall. Guillermo Mota comes on to take over for Kevin Brown, and Rolen plays long ball for the 19th time. 3-1 St. Louis.
Now this is what you get out of Scotty Rolen. We talked about the numbers right around 280. He's going to hit you 25 to 30 home runs, drive in right around 100. That's just a fastball right down Broadway, and he can hit one of those. 6'4", 240. Boy, when he lays into one, and he didn't get all that one. He popped that up a little bit, but he's strong enough to hit it out of here. Look at the numbers on Guillermo Mota. 1 save on the season, as he was called to do that duty a little bit earlier on.
Martinez rolls over one to the right side, and Toro will throw him out, 1 away. This Dodger bullpen has been the best in baseball the entire year. So it is rare indeed when they give up a run. Kevin Brown threw 79 pitches in the game, allowed 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 was earned. And you see, hoping to end a 3-game losing streak, the best he can hope for now is a no decision.
And Tommy, there's no way that Kevin Brown wants out of this game with just 79 pitches thrown. So obviously it's a precautionary situation with that abdominal strain again. He's probably feeling a little bit worse. They don't want to chance it. They want him around for the entire second half of the season. If he yanks that thing again, he's on the DL again, and then you're in trouble.
The Dodgers have a big week coming up. They'll take on Colorado 4 games at the beginning of the week, and then they will go to Arizona, the team that is directly in front of them in the National League West and in that wild card race right now. This upcoming weekend, they're only 2.5 behind the Diamondbacks for the wild card.
Brown was flat out lights out in the last 3 innings he pitched. Gave up just 1 hit in those 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. Looked like he was actually getting better on the mound. A little bit better bite on the sinker.
Jason Simon-Tachi getting loose meanwhile in the Cardinal pen. Good breaking ball by Mota. Gets a strikeout of Renteria. Let's check in with Jeannie Zelasco for a game break.
Oakland's Mark Mulder had allowed just 5 runs in his last 4 starts at the Metrodome. That was then. This is now. About 5 runs total today with this Doug Minkiewicz 2-run home run. And the Twins have the edge 5-4 bottom 6.
It's going to be a fun American League Western Division race, Steve, to keep an eye on. You and I next weekend will see Oakland and Seattle. Or Oakland, I beg your pardon, and Anaheim. Down at Edison International Field, Oakland 5 behind Seattle in the West, and Anaheim only 4.5 behind Oakland. Anaheim playing much better baseball of late, but then they start post All-Star break and drop 2 in a row to Baltimore. Well, time to take a look at our Sprint Virtual Manager question. And how did you vote? Our batters taking exception to Beanings. Overwhelming 3/4 of you say absolutely, with Steve Lyons leading the charge.
Kind of a trick question, I think, because anytime I'd get hit as a hitter, I'd take exception to it. It's not fun.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that the game has changed quite a bit, but it's still not fun to get hit. All right, here, let me throw something at you right now.
Saturday Baseball brought to you by Budweiser. The best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. Solid effort from Danny Haren. He goes 6 innings today, allows 6 hits and only 1 run, and he will give way to what has been an up and down Cardinal bullpen all year long. And they start things with right-hander Jason Simon-Tachi, a former starter.
And you talk about the down. Look at the ERA for Simon-Tachi. He is the one guy that Tony La Russa believes that if they can come up with a solid starter like Haren, that he's most comfortable moving Simon Tachi to the pen to help out there. See how he fares today against these Dodgers.
Well, you know, the 60 family and friends that are here to watch Danny Haren have to be elated at his effort at Dodger Stadium today. Swung on and fouled out of play by his tourist. He'll be followed by Larry Barnes, and then back to the top of the order and Hobart Cabrera.
That's the toughest thing too when you're a young kid like Haren and you need a lot of extra passes and you're begging your teammates to give up their tickets so that you can use them for your friends and family. When you come to LA, everybody knows someone, so they don't have tickets to give you, and they're like, hey Rook, get in your pocket, all right? Either say no or get in your wallet.
So you think he actually had to pay for tickets here today?
He probably had to whip out.
2-2 on his tourist.
Yeah, it's not like you're strolling into Minnesota where nobody knows anybody. Well, you need my 5 tickets, you got them. You're coming to LA, baby. People know people here. I'm not giving up my tickets for you.
I don't know anybody here.
Well, you could have had yours then.
2-2 the count on his tourist. Simon Tachi on in relief of Danny Haren. Slow roller to the right side. Hart's got it. 1 away. Haren hoping the bullpen can nail it down and give him his first big league win here today, coming this fall. The NFL returns to Fox. Bill Parcells comes to Dallas to return the Cowboys to glory. Michael Vick, Donovan Osborne battle for the title, the best quarterback in the league. The biggest stories in the NFL are in the NFC, and the NFC is on Fox, returning September 7th.
Is Donovan Osborne gonna
be a quarterback for the Cardinals? He was a good left-handed pitcher, and I've always thought he'd make a good quarterback.
Yeah, well, that's a good save.
That's a Cardinal Freudian slip, or a Donovan slip. That's Donovan McNabb, obviously. Jeez.
Hey, you never know.
Play by Larry Barnes.
Maybe Osborne will be quarterbacking for the Denver Broncos this year.
Swing and a miss. Good off-speed pitch, and Simon Tachi has certainly plenty of that.
Check out that last foul ball, Tommy. Look at the fan tried to make the catch, lost his beer. Oh, wait a minute. He held on to it, but shook it up so much it's squirting all over him like champagne.
Grounded sharply. Renteria throws from his knees. Picked out of the dirt at first by Martinez. We've been talking about Renteria all day long. Arguably the most underrated player in the game today. Can do it running the bases, swinging the bat, and picking it at short.
Watch how quickly he gets up and tries to make this throw. He hasn't even squared up his body yet. And what makes that play is Martinez on the other end. If this ball gets by, Renteria just has a nice play with a big fat error next to his name. Look at the pick by Martinez at the other end to seal that play. 2 very nicely played balls by 2 good infielders there.
Tino is a guy who's never gotten enough credit for his defense. Only J.T. Snow has fewer errors among all active first basemen than does Tino Martinez.
And Tino Martinez was the only guy in that the St. Louis lineup last year in the infield that didn't win a Gold Glove. Roland had one, Renteria had one, Vina had one at second base, and look at the pick by Martinez again. Right, sometimes you forget the back end of the play. The shortstop makes a great diving play, lets one go because he has to hurry the throw, and if the first baseman doesn't come up with it, there's a guy on second base, and the shortstop just has an error next to his name instead of, you know, guys like us sitting up here talking about how great a play it was on both ends.
Renteria, his second terrific play of the afternoon. He's made 3 or 4 others that were very, very good. But he does it every day. Cabrera takes high, 2-0. Renteria is only 27 years old. And it seems like forever ago he was starring at shortstop on that Marlins team that won the '97 World Series. 3-0 on Cabrera.
Hey, it's worth watching one more time. He really thought he had to hurry the throw. He got up and got it done. You see the split screen there. Edgar Renteria's older brother by a couple years, Eddie, was the bat boy for the Winter League baseball team that I played on down in Colombia, South America. Eddie was a nice-looking young player himself, passed on his knowledge of the game to his younger brother, Edgar, and boy, he's just flat out playing.
To Cabrera, and again showing bunt. He thought it was low. It's strike 2.
Those kids down in Colombia, where we played, Barranquilla, like, see kids out in the parking lot of the stadium fielding ground balls off the cement, using gloves that they made out of cardboard from milk cartons. If you can catch a ground ball out in the stadium parking lot, you can catch it right here in Dodger Stadium.
And is up on cue. Renteria behind the bag throws out Cabrera to end the inning. The Cardinals doing it with pitching and defense on a rare occasion through the front 7 so far today. Guillermo Mota on for his second inning of work in relief of Kevin Brown. If you're just joining us, Brown returned from a disabled list today, as it's strike 1 to Kerry Robinson, the pinch hitter, batting for the pitcher Simon Tachi. Brown was 79 pitches through 6 innings, allowed 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 was earned. Brown did not walk a batter and struck out 6. Robinson fouls it out of play. Tom Martin, a hard-throwing lefty in the Dodger bullpen, getting loose. The middle is Turris behind the bag, flashing some leather of his own. While we have a moment, the Fox family extends its deepest sympathies to Dewey Gong of Major League Baseball, who lost his sister Deanna McCarthy and brother-in-law Kevin McCarthy this week in the Santa Monica tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers are with the entire family. Bo Hart, 1 of 3 in the game, doubled to right center field against Kevin Brown in the opening inning, and was stranded at third in that first inning. When standing at third and 1 away, Brown struck out Pujols and Edmonds to end the inning. Pulled foul.
Hart's first name is Bodhi, which I found out before the game is a Buddhist tree.
I knew that.
You knew that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's because you're so worldly. I thought his first name would have been Beauregard or something like that, which I'm pretty sure isn't a Buddhist tree.
Bouncer back to the man. 2 away in the inning. Now, you know I didn't know that. You know that.
Right fielder, J.D. Drew.
But I know one thing. I'll remember it the next time. Bodhi.
Bodhi. B-O-D-H-I.
Two away in the inning, and now J.D. Drew. 2 out of 3. A pair of singles has scored a run.
You had nothing for that, did you?
Nothing.
That's
I was thinking about it. On the inside corner, a strike from Mota. You certainly hope that J.D. Drew can find a way to get back to close to 100% health-wise as his career rolls on, because he has so much talent. I know a lot of people got down on this guy when he turned down the contract offer after being drafted by Philadelphia, wound up going back in the draft. The Cardinals drafted him, signed him. When this guy plays, he is a really good player. He can hit. At one time, he could run, was a good defender. But he can really hit. It's just a matter, Steve, of whether he's going to be able to play 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week.
He's been so frustrated because of the fact that the injury that he does have there affects everything else that he does in his game. It's a knee injury. It's his front leg. So anytime he tries to stride on that knee, it takes away a lot of his power. He has to land a little bit more gingerly on that, thinking about it all the time. Takes away from his defense and his base running skills. Kind of tough to go out there 70% every day. And yet still hitting over 300.
Three balls, 2 strikes on J.D. Drew. Pujols hoping for a chance here in the 8th inning with a man aboard. 2 down, nobody on, and the Cardinals leading the Dodgers 3-1. Pujols watches a 3-2. Ball 4 down low, and Pujols will get a chance to bat. Of course, right before the All-Star break, much to do really about not a whole lot. Pujols standing and watching his first game-winning walk-off home run of his career. Then the next day, Adam Eaton hit him with a breaking ball. Gary Bennett kind of stepping in front of Pujols. Bennett had words with Pujols about standing and watching his home run when he came from third base at the end of the game the night before. And you got to wonder not whether any suspensions will be handed down.
It's a little bit out of character for Pujols to stand there and watch a home run ball like that. It's not generally the way he plays the game. That was also kind of strange that if you're going to hit the guy, you hit him with a big looping breaking ball, and then you get thrown out of the game for that. I got to tell you, if I'm going to take the chance and drill you because you hit a home run against my team the night before, I'm going to muscle up my best fastball and drill you. I'm not going to flip an 89 mile an hour, 82 mile an hour curveball up there and bounce it off your back.
I think that's why Bruce Bochy was so upset. Bochy livid with the umpiring crew when they threw Eaton out of the game. Well, Major League Baseball will be giving away World Series tickets for life and other great prizes in the Ultimate World Series Pass promotion presented by Radio Shack. Winning hologram numbers will be announced throughout games 1 through 4 with a grand prize of the World Series tickets for life during Game 4 of the 2003 World Series. Don't miss the 2000 World Series right here on Fox.
Pujols now just a homer away from 100 for his career.
He'll settle for a base hit into center field.
Ho hum.
Robert Pujols would love to get his club to the 2003 World Series on Fox.
Just takes this pitch and goes right back up the middle. That ball low and away from Pujols. Not trying to pull it. It's one of the things that's made him such a great hitter is that he'll use the entire field.
Well, they were getting Martin ready in case the left-handed batting Edmonds came to the plate. He is, and he is coming in. Well, Jim Edmonds was a scheduled hitter. He's been taken down for a pinch hitter after the left-handed pitcher Tom Martin was brought on by Jim Tracy. It'll be Eduardo Perez, the son of Hall of Famer Tony Perez, and he has been mighty good for St. Louis this season.
Well, especially against left-handed pitching, as you see Edmonds now taking a seat. Edmonds struck out twice and grounded out weakly to second base. Perez hits over 360 against lefties. Most of the damage that Edmonds had done this year, hitting over 320 against right-handed pitching. Not a bad time to get him out of there.
You know, the only thing you wonder about, Steve, and you talk so much about how important defense can be for pitching. And we've seen that since the beginning of Major League Baseball. You are taking a perennial Gold Glove defender out of your lineup when you already have a 2-run lead in the 8th inning. It is a roll of the dice here taking Edman out. There's no question they have guys out there that can take over in center field, but none that will play center the way Edmonds can.
Yeah, and I think the point would be only a 2-run lead. Perez jumps the yard right here. You don't worry too much about it. There's the numbers. 320 against the right-handers, 256 with half as many home runs and quite a bit fewer RBIs against left-handed pitching this year. This is why you have Perez on this team, to come up in this situation. It just doesn't generally happen for Edmonds.
2-1 on Eduardo Perez, and he pops it up, which should in the inning. Toro waving off his buddy Turris, and that'll do it. So good work by Martin. The Cardinals lead 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Dodgers with the heart of the order coming up. 3-1 St. Louis. Fox Saturday Baseball brought to you by Circuit City. We're with you by Midas Auto Service Experts. Midas, we do that. By Lotrimin Ultra, the latest cure for athlete's foot. And by Burger King. Come on over. The fire's ready at Burger King. Changes aplenty for Tony La Russa and the Cardinals as they take the field defensively in the bottom of the 8th inning. Eduardo Perez remains in the game in left. J.D. Drew moves from right to center, replacing Jim Edmonds. And Kerry Robinson stays in the game to play right. They also bring on a new pitcher following Haren and Simon Tachi. It's a left-hander, Lance Painter.
Once again, you look at the ERA up over 5. This St. Louis bullpen has struggled all season long. I guess who's going to come up and get the first at-bat, Tommy?
Ricky Henderson.
Number 25, Ricky Henderson.
Henderson signed as a free agent on July the 14th. At the time, had been playing for the Newark Bears of the Independent Atlantic League. Major League Baseball's all-time leader in runs scored, walked, stolen bases, and leadoff home runs. And he's now the active leader in career hits. 3,043 hits for the first ballot Hall of Famer, Ricky Henderson.
Henderson does create some more problems for Jim Tracy as time goes on, and Dave Roberts comes back, his center fielder. Asked the question as to who would lead off if they're both in the lineup. Jim Tracy said Ricky Henderson will lead off. They've been doing it for 25 years. I'm not going to change that. I think I disagree with that. I think Dave Roberts is one of the premier leadoff hitters as far as getting on base. When he gets on base, he's a guy that can steal a base for you. Will lead the league in stolen bases if he has a good year offensively. Ricky cannot do that anymore. Certainly has been the benchmark of great leadoff hitters for years and years and years, but I don't know that you can put the legend of the man in that spot and have the 44-year-old man expected to do the same thing.
Little bleeder into short center field, and Drew able to run it down, taking over for Edmonds out there in center. Henderson had started his first 2 games in this series since joining the Dodgers, went 3 for 8, including a home run.
Now, Dave Roberts far and away the leader on this team in stolen bases with 24, and he's on the DL, and he's only hitting 250. Has not had his best offensive season, but he's still a threat in the way that Ricky Henderson was when he gets on base. Ricky is not that guy anymore when he gets on base.
Well, they're hoping that Roberts can begin his rehab as early as this coming week. They'd love to have him back within the next 2 weeks, if not sooner than that. High to Sean Green, 2-0. There you see, going back to the beginning of last year, and it really was the most playing time Roberts has ever had in his major league career. Second only to Juan Pierre in stolen bases. Green, a lazy fly ball into center field. 2 up, 2 down against Painter here in the 8th. Time for our great beat of the game presented by Dr. Scholl's. A homecoming for Danny Haren. He is now 4 outs away, Steve, from his first major league win. He pitched well here today.
Those are good looking feet. Mixed in that 4-seam fastball, the slider you see right there. Split finger, good slider right there. Did a good job of pitching today for a young kid. Nice poise, knew what he wanted to do and got it done. Some nice help behind the plate from Mike Matheny.
Now Loduco hit that line drive with the bases loaded, ending the 5th inning. Green walked in front of him in that 5th, and that was the last Dodger base runner they had in the game. Jam shot one hopper to Renteria, and Painter with a perfect 8th inning. We go to the 9th at Dodger Stadium. Cardinals 3, Dodgers 1. Alongside Steve Lyons and our entire crew, Tom Brenneman back at Dodger Stadium. We talked about it at the beginning of the telecast. For the Cardinals, pitching has been the problem. Today it has been terrific. The Dodgers' problems all year long have centered around their offense. They've been very good for the last 2 days. Only 1 run today.
6 hits, 1 run against a nice job by a kid that came up and really shut him down. But as we said before, the Dodgers all year long have not been a real tough offensive team to shut down. And once again today, they don't swing the bats.
Changes all over the field for Jim Tracy. You saw Ricky Henderson remaining in the game to play center. Jeremy Burnitz moves from left field to center field. Colbert Cabrera grabbing a new glove, moving from center to second base. And a new pitcher takes over. Brown started, Mota followed, allowed a home run to Roland. Martin got it out, and now it's Paul Shuey. Sparkling ERAs up and down this entire Dodger pitching staff, whether it's their starting rotation or down in the bullpen, where their team has the best ERA of any club in the league.
And here's what we talked about before. Defensively, when they make these changes, or if Ricky Henderson is in the game from the get-go, their defense will suffer out here. Ricky Henderson, you see him in left field, not the defensive player he once was, and playing very, very deep today. Doesn't have the confidence to go back on balls. Look at him. He's leaning up against the left field wall almost. He needs a ticket to get back in the game. Still working on his stroke.
One away for Tino Martinez. And once again, the Dodger pitching has been excellent. I mean, they've only allowed 3 runs, only 7 hits, and one of the runs an unearned run on that errant pickoff throw by Kevin Brown that scored J.D. Drew from third in the 3rd.
There's Ricky. I'm just amazed. I mean, you got Tino Martinez, a left-handed hitter now, predominantly a pull hitter, and Ricky's still playing him as if Dave Kingman was hitting or something. He wants to get closer to the wall so he can talk to the fans in left field.
And he does that as well as anybody that's ever played the game.
I mean, that is deep.
Jason Isringhausen, the Cardinal closer, cranking it up down in the right field bullpen, trying to come on and get the save and nail down the first win of the Redbirds in this series and against the Dodgers all year. 3-2 to Tino.
Isringhausen's been one of the bright spots out of that pen after so worried about whether or not he'd be healthy.
Early in the season, it seems as though the Cardinals were losing many, many games because of their bullpen. But they've struggled to really get on a roll of late because of ineffective starting pitching. But one thing they can count on is excellent defense, and today no different.
Shortstop.
Our good hands play of the game presented by Allstate. Gold Glove winning shortstop from a season ago and probably on his way again this year, Edgar Renteria.
Him turn and throw even before he had faced first base bag. Just an amazing play. And a great pick by Tino Martinez at first to complete it. That big breaking ball got Renteria out of there quickly.
Edgar knocked in the first run of the game when the Cardinals played small ball back in that second inning against Kevin Brown. A leadoff double by Roland. Tino Martinez laid down his first sacrifice of the season, getting him down to third, and then Renteria knocked him in with a fly ball to right. Two and one. Well, the Cardinals over the last number of years have always made a major move right around the trade deadline. In 2000, they acquired Will Clark and Mike Timlin. In 2001, it was Woody Williams and Miguel Cairo. And, of course, last year they got Chuck Finley and Scott Rowland. Rolled around the corner now. Shuey will throw out Renteria, out number 2 in the inning. But the big question around St. Louis, does Walt Jocketty have the necessary financial freedom to go add to their $83 million payroll this year?
And if he does, who does he give up in order to get that? You know, a lot of times when you make trades at the deadline, it's prospects for guys that can help you. But if you don't have the money to go out and make a deal, then you have to part with someone on your club that's productive that another team can use.
Boy, the Cardinals are tied up in some huge contracts with their players. I mean, they've done a great job bringing in and assembling the position players that Tony La Russa puts out there every day. But they are locked into some enormous long-term contracts. When you look around at those position players, that one gets away from LaDuca. And advancing on to third is Tino Martinez. I mean, they make the deal for Roland. Long-term deal, huge money. They get Edmonds, long-term deal, huge money. And you go right around the rest of the team, same thing.
They're expecting those guys to be productive for years to come, and offensively they are. I mean, I don't think they have a lot of trouble with how much money they're paying for the everyday lineup. They are getting the job done, but if you're not getting the production out of your pitching staff, either you have to spend more money in that area or have the guys that you're paying right now step it up or get out.
Two and one on Matheny with a runner at third. And a breaking ball stays up and in. 3 balls and a strike. Kerry Robinson waits in the on-deck circle. It's a big run down there at third base. A big tack-on run for the Cardinals, already in front by 2 here in the ninth. Full count.
Matheny is a much better hitter than he was in the past. He had a conversation with him before the game. He's 6'3", 220. He said, you know, everybody looked at me because I'm a big guy and thought I should be hitting a lot of home runs, but every time I tried to do that, my swing would get messed up. I'd pull off the ball. Doing a lot of work with Mitchell Page over the last 2 seasons to get his hands in the position that he wants them to be when he takes his swing. No excess movement anymore. There's a good shot of Page. Also did a lot of work with Edgar Renteria as well. Got rid of the big leg kick that he had. Now average-wise, a much better hitter than he was in the past.
In the air in foul territory, and in the front row of the stands, big league play right there.
Nice play right there. Bare-handed and everything. Look, this guy Green isn't going to get it, but watch the guy come out of the stands to make a great play. He dove for that ball.
In traffic, no less.
And the only thing that kept him in the seats was his gut. Right? I mean, his boiler was hanging out, just bounced off the wall and got him right back into the seats again.
Isringhausen coming on to try and close it out for St. Louis. And for the bottom half of the ninth inning, Cardinals in front 3-1, and now they bring on their closer, who was injured over the first couple of months of the season, but is now starting to throw the ball exceptionally well. The right-hander Jason Isringhausen.
These are the kind of numbers that they were looking out of Izzy. A 1.32 ERA. Just 5 saves because, as you mentioned, Tommy, hasn't been active for all that long. But if they can get the ball to him, although sometimes he's pretty scary about getting his saves, he generally nails it down.
Jeremy Burnitz to lead off the LA ninth inning. He'll be followed by Adrian Beltre. As the Dodgers try and rally here in the home half of the ninth inning and give Danny Haren a no decision in this game. Isringhausen trying to nail it down for Haren and give him his first big league win. He should have had his first win his last start against San Diego. He left with a 1-0 lead. The bullpen gave it up in a game the Cardinals eventually won. Pulled foul by Burnitz. 1-2.
That guy had a shot at another foul ball. I already made a great play last inning, and his girlfriend's just hanging out with a fan saying,
well, she's hard to impress.
You're not that big a deal. Oh, I don't know. He had a shot at that one, but he alligator armed it.
Breaking ball in 2-2.
Sort of like you when we go out for dinner. You can't reach your wallet in your back pocket.
2-2 the count. Straw came out. One away in the Dodger ninth inning. We talked about the offensive woes out of the Dodgers this season.
Third baseman.
Their pitching has been fabulous. 29th in all of baseball in runs per game and last in home runs. Great pitching today. Only 1 run offensively.
Just can't win that many games when you only score 1 run.
Adrian Beltre, first pitch swinging. And fouls it out to Mike Matheny. Boy, now there's something right there where if I'm a Dodger fan, you know, it's one thing to struggle offensively like Beltre has done all year long. Your team's down 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning, and you're swinging at that pitch on the first pitch in at bat.
Not only that, exactly. Not only a pitch
That's
over your head, but the first pitch. Whatever happened to go out and working a guy a little bit.
But I mean, Beltre's been around long enough now where, you know, you can't say he's a young player. He might be young in terms of age, older than they thought he was initially. But they've been in the big leagues now 5 years. I mean, even if Beltre hammers a home run right there, his team is still down a run. Oh, well, Darrell Ward will look at ball 1 low and away. Our coordinating producer of Major League Baseball on Fox, in today's game produced by Michael Weissman. Our director, Jim Lynch. Our associate director, Larry Lancaster, and our broadcast associate is Zach Fields. Our technical producer, Sid Drexler. And the 1-0 to Ward in there, a strike. Studio show today produced by Gary Lang, directed by Bob Levy. The coordinating producer of the studio show, Scott Ackerson, and the studio technical supervisor, Jack Simmons. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown, and the executive producers are David Hill and Ed Goring.
Tommy, the last 12 straight Dodgers that have come to the plate have been retired. And that was one of those times, too, where I've talked about before, where a home run doesn't really help you there. Even if Beltre does hit the ball out of the park, you're still down a run and you have nobody on base. And to me, in that situation, you're much better off with a guy on second base. Get the pitcher into a stretch, although Isringhausen stretches most of the time anyway. But get the defense thinking about something else rather than just you.
Check swing, and they appeal and no up at third base, says Charlie Rutherford. 2-2 to Ward. Well, Danny Haren not in the St. Louis dugout, and he is an out away from getting his first major league win. Jeannie and Kevin will come along to give you all the coverage from around baseball right after the conclusion of this one, where the Cardinals, for the first time, may get a win after the All-Star break, after dropping the first 2 in this series. Still 2-2 to Ward.
Darren Ward has had such a tough season this year. Had a base hit and an RBI in last night's ball game that was crucial to the game. Said it was nice to find out what it was like to get a hit again. Been so long. Hitting under 200 this season. Not getting in as many at-bats as he had hoped to wearing a Dodger uniform.
Little roller up the line, and this should do it. Isringhausen feeds Martinez, and the Cardinals get excellent pitching today. And you know Tony La Russa has to be extremely happy about that, and congratulations to Danny Haren, his first big league win.
Anytime you come into Dodger Stadium with Kevin Brown pitching, even though he had lost his last 3 starts, Brownie is nasty. He was nasty again today, but they scored just enough runs to win.
Cardinal pitching retires the final 13 batters to close out a 3-1 win. Both these teams in the hunt for a postseason berth. For more information on that and more around baseball, go to foxsports.com. For Steve Lyons, I'm Tom Brenneman saying thanks so much for being with us. Coming up, it's Jeannie Zalasko and Kevin Kennedy in our Fox Television Center. We'll go there right now, and we will see you next weekend in Anaheim.
Kevin, if Ricky Henderson can come back.
Guess who else can come back?
Why not?
One of these guys.
How about this guy right here?
Maybe Jackson. He can still swing it. He can swing it, Jeannie. It's in the gap. Normally you think that thing is gone with Red. He lost a little bit of power, and I think he lost a little bit of legs, too.
A little bit of speed going around the path. That's the beauty of the old-timers game, because everybody's lost something.
Triple or inside the park home run. Reggie's got to go for it all.
Go for it.
What a finish.
Inside the park home run in the old-timers game, the Tribe and the Yankees. Welcome inside the Fox Network Center. Jeannie Zalasko along with Kevin Kennedy as the Dodgers go down in defeat. We knew it would be an interesting battle as one of the best pitching staffs faces one of the best hitters in the National League. Dodgers 4 through 8 hitters, 0 for 18 on the day. Let's share some more activity from a Saturday in baseball.
Tommy Glavine, Jeannie's got to face the Braves again.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, it's activity except for Tom Glavine, because this is the kind of stuff that happens every time he faces his former mates. Not going good. Andrew Jones, 8th home run allowed this season.
And then John Smoltz to finish it off. 100 career saves.
100. What's that percentage?
93.5% saves for John Smoltz. That's outstanding.
Impressive. And as I was saying, Tom Glavine has given up 8 home runs to his former mates. It just does not go well. He says everybody has that one team that gets them. Apparently, it's my former team.
This record you're looking at, the best in Major League Baseball. Nobody would have thought it with all the guys they lost. Tommy Glavine, Kevin Millwood going to Philadelphia. It's been the offense for the Braves really coming into its own. The Phillies are 10 out, Florida 14 out, but they believe they have a chance for the wild card. And they do. There's no question about it.
All right, let's go back to Tom Glavine and his horrible outing. 4 times he's faced his former mates. It doesn't happen.
Andrew Jones right here going opposite field. Now watch the pitches down and away. I mean, off the outside corner here. No Quest Tech in Atlanta. So Tommy goes, you know what? I can live out there if I'm going to get that call. But the Braves know his game plan. He stays down and away. The Braves lean over the plate, and they take the outside corner away from Tommy Glavine. He did not pitch inside enough. Look at this pitch. A good 3-4 inches off the outside corner. That's Russell Ortiz, a good hitting pitcher. He goes back to the same location. Instead of changing the eyesight, moving the hitter's speed, Tommy didn't mix it up enough, and he got burned by it. Ortiz got the hit. Jones with the home run, number 24. Look at this pitch off the ground right there. I mean, that's a great pitch normally, but again, it's the Braves. They know Tommy's game plan. He just did not go up and in enough, north and south, east and west, changing the eyesight of the hitters, moving their feet, and it cost him once again.
Speaking of moving, that's what you could say about this Astros lineup. They are starting to wake up, Kevin.
They are. Berkman, Hidalgo. That should have been caught by Ruben Mateo. If it's Griffey out there, he takes away, but Junior is gone for the rest of the season.
Speaking of gone, here's another one. Back to back to back to start this one in Cincinnati. Morgan Ensberg with the exclamation point. And then they're just pouring it on. Just pouring it on.
Well, that would be Boone right there. Or Jason LaRue.
Jason LaRue slamming a 3-run home run to right. And then bottom 9. The Reds tried to get back in this one. They actually trailed 9-1 in the 8th. Made it interesting, but when all was said and done, the Astros got the victory.
They're swinging the bats right now. Normally their pitching's been very good, especially the bullpen. The bullpen gave it up, but Dotel finished it off and kept the game right there.
So is Houston for real? Who's going to take this division?
They're for real. There's no question about it. Kent's back now, even though he did not pitch today. I like their bullpen very much. Brad Lidge pitched the last 2 nights. You've got Dotel, Billy Wagner. That's why they used Brad Lidge last couple of nights. That's why he wasn't in the ball game, and Jimmy Williams was forced to bring in Dotel to finish this thing off. But the offense has been very impressive. And I thought in spring training that they would be impressive with Jeff Kent in the middle of that lineup. Hidalgo is swinging a bat like he did a couple of years ago where he hit 44 home runs. That's what I like with this lineup going on right now. Biggio to start off. Bagwell, 398 career home runs. It's a tough ball club. You got Miller and Oswalt going. They're not going to go away.
Well, I think what's most interesting is that Bagwell hasn't even started to heat up. He's actually been on the decline since May, so it's just a matter of time. You know he's going to have a solid season.
He's hitting under 300 right now. Before it's all said and done, he's going to be right up there. The power numbers are still there. Berkman swinging the bat like he did a year ago now, where he led the National League in RBIs. A couple of home runs today for him.
All right, let's take you back to the game that you just saw at Dodger Stadium. The Cardinals in town.
Well, Kevin Brown on the mound. Little errant pickoff throw right there, Jeannie.
Kevin may be a little rusty as he gets back to work coming off the DL.
Threw it with the runners coming back into the first base, and you got no chance there. But he pitched pretty well overall. But how about this guy, Scotty Rowland? Best offensive club in the National League. Rowland goes deep right there and would open up the ballgame 3-1 for the Cardinals. That was not off of Kevin Brown. That was off of Mota. Brown pitched 6 strong innings, Jeannie, but yet the Dodgers did not swing the bat. Of course, Ricky Henderson did not start this ballgame, played the last couple of nights, rested on the day game. Maybe they should have let him off.
Let's talk about the other guy on the mound.
Well, the other guy on the mound is a kid from Pepperdine University, #2 draft pick in year 2001 for the Cardinals. His first Major League win is what he's going for. Key to the ball game right here for Haren is getting out of this inning, second and third, 1 out. Fastball's powering away, 90-91. Then a great split-fingered fastball to Alex Cora. Young guy I like very much. Got called up only 19 2/3 innings in the big leagues, his first big league win.
I know this face. This is not a young guy. He's been around for a while, and he keeps doing this kind of stuff. Barry Bonds, with his Major League leading 31st home run with the Rockies, is down to watch it happen.
He's only 16 away from Willie Mays, his godfather.
Whoever told you, Corey Alba, getting it on his 25th birthday, gets a home run. Notable in this one, though, is Jason Schmidt, Kevin.
Yeah, he came out of the ball game during the 6th inning there after a strain in his forearm, and that's big news right there because the Giants need him. He's their ace. They're still maintaining that lead, obviously, if they win this ball game, a 5-game lead over Arizona. The Dodgers dropped to 8 games back. It'll be 8.5 if the Giants finish that thing up. But they got to have Jason Schmidt. You don't want him out too long. That's why they took him out of the ballgame. A little stiffness in the forearm. We'll see what happens. He had a lot of complete games so far this year. 97 fastball. You saw him Tuesday in the All-Star game, why he was a starter, how good this guy is. But he's their bread and butter guy right now. He's their ace with Ortiz gone to the Atlanta Braves. They got to have him.
Well, talk about the All-Star break, and the Dodgers really the only ones making noise, trying to make some changes, trying to make a push here. What do you see happening in the West?
Well, I like what the Dodgers did. I think getting Ricky Henderson was a great move. They got nothing to lose. It's the all-time scoring leader in Major League Baseball, and that's what the Dodgers lack in the National League. They are last in the National League in on-base percentage, last in runs scored. Did not start him day, and I understand why. Day game after a night game, but you got to get him in that lineup as much as you can right now. Burnitz was a nice pickup to complement Sean Green in the middle of that lineup, with McGriff in and out of the lineup, and of course, Brian Jordan gone for the year. The Dodgers did a nice thing. The pitching's not going to go away, but they got to get that offense going, and I think those guys will help.
All right, more scores to pass along to you. So we take it down to Florida, where the Cubs are hanging out. Kerry Wood on the mound in this one, 3-0 lifetime versus the Marlins, and we have no scores. We sit top 4. Up to the dome, and it's the A's at the Twins, and Brad Radke hasn't won since about mid-May, Kevin, and I think we're seeing why.
Gave it up right there to Doc Jones. I mean, he's had a bad record this year at 5-9. That is not Radke. Mulder's done very well historically in the Metrodome. Earned an average of 1.5. But he gave it up today a little bit.
Yeah, Doug McCavish taking that one for a ride. Top 9, the Twins out in front, 9-4. Twins desperately in search of some W's to get back in this race.
No question. And let's go to the West first. Seattle is not going to go away. Too good a ball club all the way around. We saw Ichiro hit a grand slam to win it last night. Oakland, 5 games back with that great starting pitching, although Mulder, Zito got beat yesterday or got knocked out yesterday, and today was Mulder.
Well, we look at history, and if you're leading your division at the All-Star break, you got a pretty good shot of claiming the division. Are you telling me Kansas City's going to take the Central?
Kansas City's got a good ball club. I like their lineup. I like their young pitching. I like their closer, McDougal, even though he gave it up last night to Ichiro. But it's the Minnesota Twins that you expect to do a lot better. They won the division last year because they got the good offense going. They've got the lefties, McCavish doing a nice job. They've got a variety of guys, left, right, in that lineup doing a good job. That's why they made the trade for Shannon Stewart. They wanted Shannon Stewart to lead off so they could put their Jock Jones in the 3 spot. And that's exactly what they're going to do against right-handed pitching, Jeannie. But I like Shannon Stewart. I like the trade, getting Shannon Stewart. He's a 301 career lifetime hitter, 367 on-base percentage, and that's exactly why they made the trade. Here's Shannon right here, the guy we're talking about. Works the count very, very well, making $6.2 million. That's why Toronto made this trade for Bobby Kielty. And he worked the count extremely well and set it up right here for Doug Minkiewicz. Doug's going to come up, pow, 2-run home run, and give the lead to the Minnesota Twins. So I think it was a good move. You put Jones in the 3 spot against righties. You can mix and match. He complements Torrey Hunter very well.
All right, this guy gets a lot of compliments. Alfonso Soriano leadoff solo home run as the Yankees host the Tribe. Soriano maybe going to make Ricky think about the record book, huh?
Eventually. Ricky's done it 80 times leading off the ball game. Bases loaded right here. You don't go to a windup. The bases loaded in the 3-2 count, 2 out. Why? Because the runner at first base, Derek Jeter, gets too good a jump, and he scores on a routine single to center field. Jason Giambi driving in 3 runs on a single. Yankees 7-4 in the top of the 9th. Trying to make a push, Jeannie, in the American League East now. They're making their move. Benitez in the bullpen now, setting up Rivera. Good news for them.
Hey, we're making a move as well. Next week, Fox Saturday Baseball returns when the Yankees visit Fenway to renew their bitter rivalry with the Red Sox as both teams try to get the upper hand of the AL East. Or the Cubs take on the Astros, then the A's meet the Angels as both teams kind of try to gain ground in the AL West. It all begins next week with This Week in Baseball, 12:30 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, right here on Fox.
Yep.
For Kevin Kennedy, I'm Jeannie Zalaska. We thank you for joining us, and we will see you back here next Saturday.